Hello, dear viewers. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of India, an exotic and densely populated Asian country unlike any other on Earth. Nowhere else can you experience such a vibrant kaleidoscope of life's colors and flavors. Only in India can you witness a Mercedes cruising down the street alongside a peacefully wandering sacred cow. Only in India would people dare to bathe in the murky, polluted waters of the Ganges River, trusting in its divine powers. India's history, social structure, traditions, and rituals remain incomprehensible to outsiders. Everyone knows it's the land of contrasts, where ancient traditions clash with modern technology, where extreme wealth meets devastating poverty, and where the sacred and profane exist side by side. In today's video, you'll discover the most fascinating traditions, the strangest rituals, and shocking facts about this incredible country that will leave you speechless. The cult of holy animals. The tradition of worshiping animals in India dates back to ancient times and continues to this day. While violating these sacred symbols isn't punished as severely as in the past, when offenders were simply sacrificed, the law remains strict against those who mistreat sacred animals. They can even be expelled from the country. Each Indian state has its own sacred animal, and to avoid trouble, visitors must learn which animals are venerated in each region and show them the utmost respect. The cow is the supreme sacred animal of India and enjoys complete freedom to roam wherever it pleases, even casually lounging on busy highways until it decides to move along. Indians revere cows so deeply that everything associated with them is considered useful, sacred, and wonderful. And not just their milk. Would you believe that cow dung is widely used to treat illnesses? Some Indians believe that cow excrement not only cures skin diseases, but can heal virtually any ailment, even COVID-19. Others go even further, drinking cow urine and rubbing it on their bodies, hoping for healing effects on their internal organs and overall health. But wait until you see this. Here are villagers joyfully performing the ritual worship of sacred cows. There's nothing surprising about this if you understand their belief that their god, Swami, was born from cow dung. And look at these brave shepherds actually allowing cows to trample over them. They lie face down on the ground while cows walk across their bodies. This ritual supposedly brings good luck and fulfills the shepherd's wishes. Would you do this for good luck? Let me know in the comments. Ritual ceremonies in India. The wedding ceremony binds husband and wife for life. Only the death of one spouse or the husband's retreat to a monastery can break the marital bond. The wife, however, cannot remarry in either case. She becomes permanently widowed. For thousands of years, there existed a religious custom where the widow was burned on the funeral pyre together with her deceased husband, known as sati widowhood. This archaic practice has been illegal in India since 1929. A truly shocking case occurred in 1987 in Rajasthan state, when an 18-year-old widow named Rup Kanwar committed sati after only 8 months of marriage. According to Hindu beliefs, this ritual helps the couple spiritually ascend and possibly return to a better fate in their next life. Sati was part of Indian culture and had its specific reasons. In traditional Indian social structures, widows had no rights or status after their husband's death. Widows were denied many aspects of life, including social status, economic independence, and even inheritance rights. For women left alone, self-immolation with their dead husband often seemed the best way out of a life of suffering and isolation. To this day, cremation remains the primary method of burial, with the ashes scattered into the sacred Ganges River. Another fascinating fact: Hindus believe that cremating someone on the banks of the Ganges purifies their karma for the next life. Even if the half-burned remains are thrown into the river, it's as if nothing bad happened. While the water quality of the Ganges has long been known to be dangerously poor, Hindus still drink from it, and amazingly, many suffer no ill effects. How is this possible? Scientists are still studying this phenomenon. The most important and colorful celebration in India is undoubtedly the wedding. Preparations take months, following all the moments preserved by centuries-old traditions alongside more modern customs. There are two types of weddings in India: arranged marriages and love marriages. In arranged marriages, the husband and wife are selected by senior family members based on the partner's age, caste, and horoscope. It's still not uncommon for the bride and groom to meet for the first time at their wedding. In love marriages, the couple approaches their parents themselves and asks permission to marry. But regardless of the type, the primary requirement imposed on the bride before marriage is virginity. According to ancient Vedic interpretations of the union between man and woman, the bride is the field and the groom is the seed. The field must be exclusively owned by one man, and only he can sow seed in the field. The most important achievement in a wife's life is to bear a son for her husband. Most of Indian society maintains traditional concepts about marriage and childbirth. Child marriage is considered normal in many communities. Approximately 40% of the world's child marriages occur in India. There's also a tradition of marriages between young girls and elderly men. Poor families often give their daughters to much older men, hoping the elderly husband will provide security and economic stability for the girl. Can you imagine being married off at 13 or 14 to a man in his 60s? This reality still exists for many young girls in rural India. The untouchable caste Indian society is divided into four main castes, in Sanskrit, Varnas. This division dates back to ancient times and still exists today. Hindus believe that by strictly following the rules determined by their caste, a person can be reborn into a higher, more respected caste in the next life and gain a much better social position. In ancient India, there were originally four main castes: the Brahmins, priests; the Kshatriyas, warrior nobles; the Vaishyas, farmers, merchants, craftsmen; and the Sudras, servants. Then there are those outside the caste system, the untouchables, pariahs, or Dalits, in Hindi, the oppressed. According to one theory, the untouchables in ancient times were members of local tribes who weren't accepted into the society of the conquering Aryans. Untouchables perform menial occupations such as garbage removal, street cleaning, toilet cleaning, animal skin processing, mining and construction work, butchering, fishing and fish processing, and washing very dirty clothes. The untouchable community is excluded from all social connections. A member of this caste cannot even step into the shadow of a higher class representative. Despite laws against it, castes still strongly exist in modern India, contrary to popular belief. About 17% of India's population belongs to the untouchable caste. That's 180 million people. Most remain in ghettos on the outskirts of settlements and in slums. Many drop out of school due to the humiliation they suffer there. Dalits make up a large portion of the unemployed, and those who are employed typically receive lower wages than members of higher castes. Since the caste system officially doesn't exist, caste verification is no longer required at a workplace or restaurant entrance. But untouchables are still haunted by caste-based attitudes from birth to death, affecting every area of their lives, including education, housing, work, access to justice, and political freedoms. Languages and slavery in India. People speak 450 different languages and 2,000 dialects. A language guidebook won't help travelers much because the many local languages and dialects differ dramatically from one another. True, most people also speak Hindi. Education in Indian schools is conducted in 58 languages, newspapers are printed in 87 languages, and films are released in 15 languages. Yet more than 15% of India's population cannot read or write at all. Slavery still exists in India today. The number of Hindus living as slaves is estimated at 14 million. This topic has long been hushed up, and people outside India can hardly imagine that this institution still exists there. Due to poor legislation and corrupt local authorities, most slaves come from the untouchable caste. Poor, illiterate women and children forced into labor and prostitution. Debt bondage is particularly widespread, where people work under terrible conditions to repay debts and massive interest charges. Beyond slaves, India has many families where children live on the streets and collect alms. An average beggar in India works 14 to 16 hours to earn a little money. The average person earns at most $1.25 per day. The government tries to alleviate poverty through subsidies and incentives for rural development, so far with limited success. Vegetarianism in cinema. At the Golden Temple in India, over 100,000 vegetarian meals are distributed daily, free of charge to the poor and homeless. India's poverty has created a huge vegetarian community, and most Indians consume plant-based foods. Indian dishes contain turmeric, coriander, mustard, cumin, cinnamon, cardamom, and chili pepper in almost every spoonful. Not surprisingly, 70% of the world's spice supply comes from India. If you want to try authentic Indian food, it's best to visit a local family. Indian cuisine offers delicious chicken, goat, and lamb dishes. Food preparation takes hours and uses a wide variety of spices. Learning Indian culinary arts isn't easy. They strictly observe the ritual of eating with the right hand, regardless of whether they eat with their hands or utensils. Forks or spoons can only be held in the right hand. Hindus consider the left hand dirty because they use it to wash after using the toilet, not toilet paper like in Western countries. When it comes to cinema, everyone thinks of Hollywood. But in India, approximately 1,100 films are made annually, twice as many as in the United States. And believe it or not, most Indian films aren't made in Bollywood. While many people love the colorful romantic films of Bollywood stars, they represent only a small part of the entire Indian film industry. These films offer glimpses into different aspects of Indian culture. But what's in almost every Bollywood film, and quite surprising and difficult to understand for non-Indian viewers, are those special scenes that might appear in an average soap opera. It's completely normal for the protagonist to jump 20 meters. This is everyday occurrence in a Bollywood film, and Indians have absolutely no problem with the complete implausibility. They consider it virtuous if the protagonist can simultaneously fight gangsters, engage in gunfights, sing, woo a girl, and dance. It's proof of the hero's competence, which is not a minor consideration in Bollywood. Indian society remains deeply patriarchal, so it's rare to see women in leading roles. Women in Indian films are mostly replaceable and play merely supporting roles. Male actors are the true superstars of Indian cinema, dominating the screen and starring in almost every big-budget film. For ordinary Indians, famous actors are iconic figures, and they'll do anything for an autograph from their living role models. That's all for today, dear viewers. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. What shocked you the most about India? Let me know in the comments below. We'll meet again soon with more fascinating content. Until then, stay curious. Goodbye.